Hi guys, you are welcome to Dssg Nation. So if this is your first time watching the video from Dssg Nation, do make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button so we can notify you whenever we create a video. So today we are going to be discussing the functional unit of the kidney called the nephron. So pick your paper and your pen and let's get started. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome back. So we said we are going to be discussing the nephron. The nephron. So the nephron right here is the microscopic structure of the kidney. They also used to call it the functional unit of the kidney. And apart from that, they used to call it the blood processing unit as well. Blood processing unit. So blood processing unit. So we have nothing less than 1 million nephron. 1 million nephron in the two kidneys. So we have over 1 million nephron in the two kidneys. So the nephron, it has majorly two parts. So let me just give you a sketch right here and come in with the two parts. Now, for the sketch of the nephron, we have a U-shaped structure right here. So we have the afferent arterial to the glomerulus, then the efferent. Then under it you have the proximal convoluted tubule of Henle, then the distal convoluted tubule, and then the collecting duct. Now, this is not the real diagram, this is just a sketch. Now, look at this cup-shaped part and this structure right here. Both of them together, they are called the renal corpuscle. Renal corpuscle. So that is the first part of the what? Of the nephron. But the other part, right from here, so to this very end, so everything right here, they are called the renal tubule. So this structure, this one, this and this, they are called the renal tubule. Which means our nephron has majorly two parts. The first one is the renal corpuscle and the other one is the renal tubule. So let me clean the board and let's come in with a proper diagram and description of the nephron. So stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back. So we said we are going to be talking about the parts of the nephron. Now, I said nephron has majorly two parts. So the first one is called the renal corpuscle. And then I said here is the diagram. We have what? A cup shape. So a cup shape. So this cup shape is called the glomerular capsule. Glomerular capsule. And why? It's because it is encapsulating glomerulus. So it means within this place we have a structure there called the glomerulus. Glomerulus. So and this glomerulus, it has an afferent arteriole and an efferent arteriole. But before talking about that, just know that this renal corpuscle is made up of two things. The first one is the glomerulus and the other one is the glomerular capsule. So what is the glomerulus and what is the glomerular capsule? I'm going to be talking about that later on. So to the second part of the what? The second part of the nephron. This is called the renal tubule. Renal tubule. So for the renal tubule, it has four things within it. As in, the renal tubule is made up of four things. So what are they? From the diagram I showed you the other time, we have what? After this, we have a constricted, a coiled part, then a long U-shaped structure, then another coiled part. So this part right here is called the proximal convoluted tubule. So this U-shaped structure is called the loop of Henle. And this structure here is called the distal convoluted tubule. And this last part here is called the collecting duct. So it means the renal tubule is made up of four things. The first one is this guy here called the proximal convoluted tubule. It is called proximal because it is closer to the point of attachment. It is that very structure attached with this renal corpuscle. So that is how it goes. So that is why it is called the proximal, closer to the point of attachment. It is called convoluted. The word convoluted means coiled. You can see that it is what? It is coiled. And then it is called tubule because it is part of the what? The renal tubule. So this loop of Henle is the U-shaped structure right here. So the next one is the distal convoluted tubule. It is called distal because it is farther away, or it is what? It is far away from the what? From the point of attachment. And it is called convoluted because it is coiled. And then lastly, we have the collecting duct right here. So let's start explaining all these things one after the other. But to do that, I'm going to bring in the diagram of the nephron entirely, and then we start describing it. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back. So, the diagram of the nephron. So, I'm going to start with the glomerulus, but let me draw the glomerular capsule first. So, the glomerular capsule is a U-shaped structure. So it nearly encapsulates the glomerulus. So to draw the glomerulus, you come into afferent arteriole, you coil it up, and then turn it into efferent. So double the line. So this structure here is called the glomerulus. It is also called the Mappesian body. So, if you want to describe the glomerulus, what are you going to say? This glomerulus is a type of capillary bed. Capillary bed are some types of blood vessels within our body. So, these capillary beds, they are responsible for the exchange of what? Of material such as fluid, electrolyte, gases within our body system. So, in short, for the nephron, it works like a sieve. So, for example, now, if you have a sieve and you pour water and sand into it, so the water is going to escape downward, but the sand is going to remain on top. And that is the exact way that this glomerulus functions. So this structure here is called the afferent arteriole. Afferent what? Arteriole. So this afferent arteriole, it carries blood towards this sieve, this glomerulus. And don't forget, we said the nephron is called the blood processing unit. So when blood reaches this place, there are some things inside the blood that will be able to escape out of the what? Out of this glomerulus. Don't forget, I said it's just like what? A sieve. So some constituents are going to escape into the what? Into this structure below, and this structure below is called the glomerular capsule. Glomerular what? Capsule. So the remaining constituent of the blood is going to move up and get out of this nephron through this vessel called the efferent arteriole. And that is that of that. So a quick recap, this glomerulus is a what? A blood capillary, or you call it a capillary bed. So it is a fenestrated capillary bed to be precise, but I don't want us to be digging deep into that. Go and watch our video on cardiovascular system. So the capillary bed, you are going to understand more about this glomerulus as well. So it's a fenestrated capillary bed, and it is the only different capillary in the body because it starts and ends with an artery. So on the norms, the capillary bed should start at an artery and ends in vein. So just look at our video on the capillary bed, you are going to understand it better. Now, it's going to do what? It's going to receive blood from the afferent arteriole, and it's going to what? It's going to let filtrate escape into what? Into the glomerular capsule below, and then other constituents of the blood are going to move out of the what? Of the nephron through the what? Through the efferent arteriole, and that is that for the what? For the glomerulus. Now, this U-shaped structure is called the glomerular capsule. It nearly encapsulates the what? The glomerulus completely, but nearly. So the function is to do what? Is to receive the filtrate from where? From the glomerulus, and then it is going to pass it down inferiorly to do what? To a new structure that I'm going to be describing now. So let me draw it. Let me draw the new structure. Now, this structure here is called the proximal convoluted tubule. So, proximal convoluted tubule. So, this tube is called the proximal convoluted tubule because it is closer to the point of attachment and then it is coiled. And now, it is made up of cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal what? Cuboidal epithelium. And it is the major site of reabsorption. So it is what? It is the major site of reabsorption. But why? Because it contains numerous microvilli. And what is microvilli? Microvilli are structures within the body that perform the function of absorption. So whenever you hear the word microvilli in the body system, just know that their function is to absorb. Although we have some exceptions. So we'll talk about that later. So this place is called the proximal convoluted tube. And it's going to receive this filtrate from what? From the glomerular capsule. So when the filtrate is moving through this place, it's going to be, there are some things inside it that are not supposed to escape. So those things are going to be absorbed back into the what? Into the bloodstream. So these structures here called microvilli, they are the one responsible for doing what? Microvilli. They are the one responsible for absorbing all those filtrates that are not supposed to be there back into the blood. So and that is their own function. So they are what? They are made up of cuboidal epithelium, and then they contain numerous microvilli, which makes them perform the function of reabsorption. So what do they reabsorb? Or sorry, what does this proximal convoluted tube? What does it reabsorb? It reabsorbs the end product of our food, such as glucose. So it reabsorbs glucose. So it also reabsorbs amino acids, that is for protein. So it reabsorbs vitamins. It reabsorbs electrolytes like sodium, and then it reabsorbs water. So that is the function of the proximal convoluted tubule. The proximal convoluted tubule is lined with cuboidal epithelium, and it is the major site of reabsorption because it contains numerous microvilli and it reabsorbs glucose, amino acid, vitamins, electrolytes, and water. So the next one is what? Is the loop of Henle. So this U-shaped structure right here is called the loop of Henle. And now the loop of Henle has two parts. So the first part is from this place to this place. So because the filtrate is going to come downward like this. So the filtrate is going to come what? It's going to come downward. This place is called the descending loop of Henle because something is going down there. So it is called the what? The descending loop of Henle. Descending loop. So the tissue makeup for this descending is the same thing as this proximal convoluted tubule. So the descending is lined with cuboidal epithelium. But from here to this place is called the ascending loop. Why? Because the filtrate, which is going to form urine later, is going to move upward. And when something moves upward, it means it's ascending. So this place is called the ascending loop. So it is lined with cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal what? Oh, sorry, squamous epithelium. Squamous. This is cuboidal epithelium, the descending loop. So it tells the tissue makeup of the what? Of the proximal convoluted tubule. But at the distal region, the ascending loop is lined with squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium. So after that, what is the function of this loop of Henle? It is supposed to reabsorb electrolytes and water majorly. So it reabsorbs water, it reabsorbs electrolyte like sodium. So your 11 sodium, then your 12 magnesium. So that is from your periodic table, the elements. So the element 11, the loop of Henle used to absorb it, that is sodium. Then magnesium, that's the 12. And then after that we have the what? We have the 19 and 20. That is potassium and calcium. Potassium and calcium. So 11, 12, 19, 20. So it used to reabsorb chloride as well. Chloride. So chloride and water. And that is the function of what? Of the loop of Henle. So going to the what? Going to the distal convoluted tubule now. The distal convoluted tubule is lined with cuboidal epithelium. Is lined with what? Cuboidal epithelium. And it contains microvilli as well, but not as much as what? As this proximal convoluted tubule. So it is lined with cuboidal epithelium and it contains microvilli as well. So it is responsible for reabsorbing water. It reabsorbs water. It reabsorbs calcium. It also reabsorbs chloride as well, chloride and sodium. So that is the function of the distal convoluted tubule. And finally, right here, we have the collecting ducts. Collecting what? The collecting ducts. Collecting ducts. So this collecting duct, it has two groups of cells. So the first one, the group of cells are called the principal cells. Principal what? Principal cells. And the other group of cells, they are called the intercalated cells. Intercalated cells. So what are those guys right there? These principal cells, their function is to reabsorb sodium and water. So they reabsorb sodium and what? And water. But the function of this intercalated cell is to maintain the body pH. Is to do what? Is to maintain the body pH. And what's the meaning of that? They maintain the acidity and alkalinity of the what? Of the body. So that is that about the nephron. So a quick recap, we said the nephron is made up of two parts. We said the first one is called the what? The first one is called the renal corpuscle. And here is the what? Here are the structures of the renal corpuscle. The glomerular capsule and the glomerulus itself. So we said glomerulus is just like a sheath. So but it receives blood from what? The afferent arteriole. So when blood reaches the glomerulus, the filtrate are going to escape into the what? Into the glomerular capsule below. And then the afferent arteriole is going to take the remaining blood into the what? Into the bloodstream. So we said the glomerular capsule is what? Is just a U-shaped structure or a cup-shaped structure that nearly encapsulates the glomerulus completely, and it receives filtrate from the glomerulus ahead above, and then it sends this down to the what? To the proximal convoluted tubule below. So and apart from that, we said the proximal convoluted tubule is what? Is lined with cuboidal epithelium, and it is the major site of reabsorption because it contains numerous microvilli. And we said the function of microvilli is to reabsorb. So after that, we said the proximal convoluted tubule it reabsorbs glucose, amino acid, vitamins, electrolytes, and water. But for the loop of Henle, we said it has two parts. We have the descending loop and then the ascending loop. This place is called the descending loop because urine or the filtrate is coming downward. But here it is called ascending because the filtrate is going upward. So we said the descending loop, the tissue makeup is the same thing as that of the proximal convoluted tubule rather, which is cuboidal epithelium. But the ascending loop, it changes to what? To squamous epithelium. So after that, we said the major function of the loop of Henle is to reabsorb water, and then your 19, 20, 11, 12. So which is sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, together with chloride. So here, the distal convoluted tubule, we said it is lined with what? Cuboidal epithelium, just like the proximal convoluted tubule as well. And it contains microvilli, but it is not as much as that of the proximal convoluted tubule. And then we said the function is to reabsorb water, calcium, chloride, and sodium. And finally, we said the collecting duct has two groups of cells. So the first one is the principal cells, and the other one are the intercalated cells. So the principal cells, they reabsorb water and sodium, so sodium and water, and the intercalated cells, they are responsible for maintaining the what? The body pH. So it means we've come to the end of this video. So if you enjoyed the video, do make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if this is your first time watching the video from the Dssg Nation, do make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell button so we can notify you whenever we create a video. Hi guys.